The prerequisites to becoming a real estate investor. All right, guys, we're going to talk about these prerequisites to becoming a real estate investor. But first off, I got to shoot out a thank you for this question and it getting asked. If you've got a question like this you'd like to have me answer, just all you got to do is type it in the comments below, and I'll create a video just like this for you and my other amazing YouTube subscribers. Thanks for being a subscriber. So prerequisites to becoming a real estate investor. A lot of people think they need to become a real estate agent to become a real estate investor. And nothing could be further from the truth. As a matter of fact, I am a real estate agent. I went to real estate agent school, and I learned a lot. Those things I learned didn't help me at all in real estate investing, nor did they help me in business or growing a real estate brokerage firm. What they simply did was gave me the ability to pass the test and be able to have a license where I could help represent other people. Not a bad thing, but it's not getting me towards becoming an investor. And occasionally it's very helpful because I can list a property and save on commissions. Those things are very helpful, but not a prerequisite to becoming a real estate investor. And the second thing is money. Having a whole bunch of money is also not a prerequisite of becoming a real estate investor. I think you're going to need to have around $3,000 to $5,000 to get started. There are some fees you're going to have to pay for with some softwares. You're going to want to have access to some information. You're going to want to get some tools and resources. But all in all, you could get started with very little money comparative to any other type of investments or any other type of businesses you may be wanting to get into. I really recommend staying around that $5,000 a mark if you want to get into real estate investing. But I think more importantly, as the prerequisites, if you've got a little bit of working capital, you have to be willing to invest that. That's one of the first things. You've got to be willing to make some investments into yourself to learn a few things and into some software so you can know what you should be doing. So I would say the number one thing is you've got to be willing to make those investments. Number two, you've got to be willing to have the tenacity and work ethic. So I think the prerequisites we're really talking about here are mindset issues, things you've got to be looking at. One of the big mistakes I see people making frequently in real estate investors is they watch HGTV or some TV show, get super excited about it. Maybe they make some investment or buy some software, but then they don't use it, or they start using it and they don't follow through. See, the fact of the matter is it's going to take you a long time to find a great deal. It may take you anywhere from a few months to 6 months or even a year to find a great deal. And keep in mind, your first deal is always the hardest for you to find. So once you kind of get that figured out, the second one's going to be a lot easier. But having tenacity, as I talked about, is got to be a huge prerequisite when we're talking about becoming a real estate investor, because having the tenacity to follow through to the end is probably one of the most defining moments or the things that make the difference between those that are successful and those who simply aren't. Number two thing I would say as real estate investors is they take accountability. They take accountability for their actions. They don't blame other people. There's a lot of victims of this world that like to blame other people for the circumstances that they find themselves in. As a matter of fact, a lot of people that are aspiring to become real estate investors and are actually putting in the time and effort may be getting clawed down by other people telling them it's crazy and not willing to help them up. They're trying to pull them down because they see somebody climbing out of the current circumstances and it scares them or concerns them. Now, lots of times this isn't out of hatred. Sometimes it's out of love. But the fact of the matter is if you're making major changes in your life that are out of the norm, there's going to be a lot of people that say it can't be done, and we'll give you all the reasons why it can. The fact of the matter is they're probably right if you choose to believe them. And they're going to be wrong if you choose not to and you move in the right direction. Now, I'm not talking about being stupid here. I'm talking about putting a blueprint together, which leads us to the next prerequisite that I would have if you want to become a real estate investor, is putting a blueprint together. Now, what do I mean by a blueprint? A blueprint is reverse engineering your success. Basically, it means is where do I want to be and how am I going to get there? So one of the things we're talking about here is if you want to make a deal happen, let's say you want to be a fix and flip real estate investor. Well, to get a fix and flip deal, you're going to have to make some offers. If you want to make some offers, you're going to have to go on some appointments. And if you're going on some appointments, you're going to have to make some phone calls to get some prospects. And if you want to get some prospects, you've probably got to call some people. If you want to call some people, you've got to do some driving for dollars to find people to call. And if you want to do some driving for dollars, you've got to have a software that's going to help you understand how to do that. And if you want to do those things, you're going to want to have a hard money lender that's going to back you when you find a property. If you want to do those things, you probably need to understand how flipping works. That's reverse engineering it. So basically, I know that I need to drive so many properties And if I drive that many properties, I'm going to end up with so many leads. With so many leads, I'm going to have so many phone calls. And with so many phone calls, I'm going to have so many people that are interested. Those people that are interested, I go to so many appointments, I get so many contracts, and I end up closing on deal. That's reverse engineering your success. And as a matter of fact, we put together a roadmap called the Next Property Roadmap that does this based upon your individual circumstances, because it's going to really depend on where you're at and what you're trying to do. So you'll put those things in to personalize a plan just for you based upon what you're trying to accomplish. If you want to get a copy of that, I will send you a free copy. Text me your email address to 435-294-0433, and I'll send you a copy of that. Now, if you're enjoying this video so far, hit that thumbs up button. As we talk about for these prerequisites of real estate investors, we've got to have the tenacity. We've got to see the end. We've got to create a blueprint for ourselves. We got to make sure that we're not a victim. We got to make sure we're rising above that, and we're willing to stick through it until the end, in addition to having about $5,000 worth of working capital in order for you to get into the game, to get some of these services, softwares, and things that are necessary to be successful. In addition to that, you need some time. If you're not willing to invest some time, you're going to find yourself in trouble. I would say 10 to 15 hours a week of time. And that could be all in a weekend. That could be some in the evening, sometimes on the weekends. You've got to be willing to devote the time to learning this, and you've got to devote the time to taking some action so that you can have the success. Now, just with anything in life, there's no guarantees. What you're trying to do is follow the best system that's out there that it has the highest probability of getting results, but there's no guarantees the results will ever happen on that. But if you follow through and follow what other people have done, have been successful, your chances are much higher, which is exactly what we're going for here. I've got a video on how to start a fix and flip. I'll link it up here in this video so you can check it out, as well as a blog post on how does real estate investing work, 7 strategies to get started. I'll link that in the notes below. Now, if you're not already one of my amazing YouTube subscribers, please hit that subscribe button and join us. We'd love to have you as part of our journey. Otherwise, make it a very profitable day, and bye for now.